Welcome to the SpringGR Show. I'm your host, Alendrea Dantzler, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager here. At SpringGR, we believe entrepreneurship changes lives and transforms communities. On this show, we bring you the stories, the lessons, and strategies from our alumni and community partners who are building bold businesses right here in West Michigan. Today, I'm joined by Dawn, a SpringGR alumni, and we're going to talk about systems and creativity. Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Tell me about yourself and your business.
So I'm Dawn, owner of Miss Too Savvy. I have a business that makes dip. So it's a sour cream and salsa based dip. Not only dip, I also cater. I do soulful tamales. I do taco seasoning packs, dry mix for the dip. And I do pre-made masa seasonings.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so good. Now, I have had some of your dips before, and when I tell you I am in love, I love it. Where are a few places that you've been so far?
The Fulton Street Market, buyout night at the Fulton Street Market.
Okay.
And a couple pop-up shops at Kaiser Station.
Oh, well, speaking of Kaiser Station, when did you go through SpringGR?
2022.
Okay.
2022. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's not too long ago.
That's
What's probably been your favorite part so far?
The networking opportunities, the growth, the opportunities that Janine brings to the kitchen for their kitchen makers. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And for those who don't know, Kaiser Station is an opportunity specifically for those who have been through our Kitchen Accelerator program. This allows entrepreneurs to not only grow their business, but to gain exclusive opportunities just for food entrepreneurs. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about today is defining success in the food industry, because that means a lot to certain people. Some people, it might mean I'm okay with just doing pop-up shops. Mm-hmm. For some people, it might mean a food truck. For some people, it might mean a brick and mortar. What does success look like for you?
Basically having and retaining happy customers, word of mouth, gaining growth through the farmers markets. I don't really want to be a brick and mortar or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Or initially I wanted to do the food truck, but unfortunately I lost my husband back in 2023. So that kind of changed the trajectory of the food business for me. So I just want to be kind of behind the scenes, maybe get some more products in the grocery stores and stuff like that. Small grocery stores.
And I feel like that's huge. There's so many different entrepreneurs that are able to get into like Meijer, or we have here in West Michigan, the Bridge Street Market, or some opportunities like that. And I think that that's awesome. How did your SpringGR experience kind of shape your definition of success?
It put things in perspective, because when I initially came to the program, I was stuck on tamales. That was my thing. I was going to cater tamales. But then every time I would mention tamales, one of my classmates said, it seems like you get so frustrated and it's like you're all tense when you talk about tamales. But when you talk about the dip, it's like you get excited. Because the dip is something that's a one-man team. I can do that by myself. But tamales, we got to have like 4 or 5 people. So, it's a whole strenuous task. So, I decided to go that route, and it was good for me. I ended up winning coaching night that year. I won one of the, I don't know if I was first, second, third, but I won something for coaching night that night. So that kind of solidified to me that, okay, maybe you got something, out of all the people, and my stuff was so ghetto, it was so ghetto. I did a Word document and printed the stuff out and sticked it on with tape or whatever for my labels or whatever. So ridiculous. But I was like, there's no way I'm doing this, but I did. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not the labels they're looking at, it's the dip.
Okay. And I feel like that's a confidence booster right there. You're telling me like, okay, I didn't have the full thing put together. I just threw a label on there. But to then have people like, no, this is really, really good. Yeah. And then you win first place off of it? Oh, yeah.
It might have been second, third. I know. I took some place in it, though. I can't remember if it was third.
I mean, that's still exciting, like to even place, because there's so many different entrepreneurs that are going through the same thing,
It was. And look, I was looking at everybody else, and they had all these nice poster boards. They were, real fancy. And I'm like, look at this kiddo stuff. I'm gonna win, but
Right. No, I think that's crazy. So, what do you think would be a common misconception about making it in the industry?
I would say industry that you're going to make all this money, or you're going to be so rich and you can leave your job. That's a misconception, because you're going to have to still work a full-time job and maneuver it
until the business can sustain itself. Yeah.
You're going to have to utilize your money from your day job to whatever night shift or whatever, and, to attain the business. And it's hard. I look at it sometimes like, do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, my bank account is going down, and I'm not, because I guess like the first few years, you're not really going to make a profit, because you're doing all this investing and materials and products and stuff like that. So, sometimes I ask myself, is this worth it? I just had that talk with myself last week. I was crying. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So,
but what does hope look like for you?
Hope looks like, the opportunities that's presenting itself, like, I'm a finalist in the 100-second competition.
Yeah.
So that's hope, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, that gives me the energy and that drive that, hey, okay, maybe you got something, because that was my 4th time applying. And this time I didn't give it as much thought. The other times I would sit there and contemplate, like, oh my God, what are they doing? So I just pretty much took what was told to me at the market. So I took what the customers wanted. They wanted a dry mix in a dry mix form, because they're just getting out for the day, and they don't plan on going right home. So my dip, the dip that you purchased for me, that's a cold dip.
Right.
So they don't want to purchase a dip and then have to go straight home to refrigerate it. So they were asking it if it's a dry mix form. So I'm like, well, hey, we can make that happen. That's easy for me, So that was my ideal for the 100-second competition.
And I think that's an amazing idea. You're telling me that I can have it whenever I want. I don't have to worry about expiration dates. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I can just take it and go.
Yeah, and you can make it. And so once you make the dip up with the sour cream and the salsa, it's a 21-day shelf life. So I did all the research for the 21-day shelf life.
Okay. So you talked a little bit, and we talked a little bit about like having to balance a 9 to 5. In addition to, you're still trying to achieve your dreams. So like, what does work-life balance look like for you? I'm sure you're at home testing recipes, or you're in the kitchen testing recipes, but like, what does that look like for family time and like just taking time for yourself? And
I really don't have too much time, you know what I mean? Because it's like having 3 jobs. So you have to go make the product, and then you have to get out here and sell it. And, and the farmer's market was really good, because it's almost like you're pitching your dip to someone, like, hey, come try this. You know what I mean? You got to explain what's in it and, what it pairs well with. So,
you got to have samples. You got to make sure that, like, I feel that the marketing piece really shines when you're sitting at those farmers markets trying to pitch to people and trying to show them, like, no, my product is the best. If you just try a spoonful, like, you'll instantly purchase it.
That's true. And I had a lot of repeat customers from that. I had people looking for me. It's like, where were you at? I came out here last week. I'm like, well, I'm not out here every week. And it's like, well, what's your schedule?
I feel like, what are some lessons, because you have a coach that works with you guys in the kitchen. So like, what is probably the most valuable lesson that you learned from your coach?
Basically to participate in events, you know what I mean? Like, when she brings out an opportunity for you, do it. Don't hesitate. Just enter in events and see what happens. Because, she had the wine tasting for us. I didn't do the wine tasting last year. I helped Honeybee's Kitchen out, but it was like on-the-job training, because now I can see what it consists of. So when I get in it this year,
Yeah.
So I take advantage of every opportunity like that. I was able to go to Made in Michigan twice, in Lansing. Once with MI Plantain. She does the plantain chips. She's an alumni as well. So I was able to help her behind the scenes. And then I also went with Janine and Chris, or somebody else. Arlene. I think last year. So yeah.
I think that's huge. And just being able to take advantage of all of those things, you're building your business on top of it. So now you're probably in a different place than when you first took the program. You've probably elevated. So like, I'm assuming that you're not putting tape on your labels now. You know, you got the full packaging. You got the full everything.
Well, I do and I don't. So I'm going through a new packaging as we speak. So I just got a new packaging company, and I wanted to, you know, I will say this farmers market, I did still rig up something. It wasn't as, you know, tasteless as what I did before, but but I still kind of rigged up some stuff doing the home labels or whatever, going to Office Depot and having to put it out. But now I have a team that's working on my labels as we speak. So, you know, I want them to look fancy.
What did that process look like? Because I know that could be like super strenuous to kind of have somebody, okay, this is my vision. I have it in my head. This is how I want to bring it to life. Like, these are the steps.
Actually, okay, so I had two separate logos. So my first actual name was DLB Catering. So I switched from DLB Catering to Too Savvy Dip. I still didn't like that, and I ended up meeting Siri Davenport. He was my lawn care service guy. He did some landscaping for me, and I guess he's like a pillar in the community. And we started talking, and he was asking me different things that what I'm into, and I was telling him. So I told him my name. I said, it's Too Savvy Dip. He said, oh no, you like a Miss Too Savvy. I said, you think? I said, what a Miss Too Savvy look like? So we came up with the concept of the bell pepper, and then I was like, okay, well, let's make her have some legs and let's make her have some heels. So we came up with that concept, and then he's connected, you know, and like I said, in the community. So he hooked me up with his boy Rich P, which brought Miss Too Savvy logo to life. Wow. And then Reg James, he does my apparel, my Miss Too Savvy apparel. And then I have my homeboy Derek. I actually have a song for Miss Too Savvy. It's a video and it's a song or whatever. So I have my own song.
No. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to like link that somewhere in the video so that people can hear it. Yeah. That's awesome.
And then I can't leave out my homegirl, my childhood friend. She made me some Miss Too Savvy Crocs. They're all blinged out with little, you know, diamonds.
Okay, look, I am a lover for Crocs, so I'm definitely gonna have to see that. I feel like that's growth. That's growth, to be able to have a team that's wrapped around you, that's able to like bring your ideas to life. Like, because entrepreneurship is so hard, it's so important to have people around you that are able to give you business ideas. You're able to feed off of them. Like, you literally had an entire village that helped with your name, helped you with your apparel, helped you with everything.
And it was beautiful. And you know, it came at the most precious time because it was the 1 year anniversary of my husband's death. And I just wanted to curl up in a little ball and just, you know, hide under the bed and not talk to anybody. But, you know, they kept pushing, like, hey, you got this done, you got this done. And I'm like, no, not yet. Like, come on up, you want a deadline, we got to get this done by this time. So I needed that. So I appreciate every last one of them for that.
I love it. Do you think that there's a lesson that a potential food entrepreneur should know? Like, okay, I have this idea, I know exactly what I want to do, but it's time to bring it to life. Like, what piece of advice would you give them if they're ready to take that leap?
Basically have faith, pray, and stay in your lane. You know, figure out what your niche is. You know, because there's so many entrepreneurs that they're trying to feed off of someone else. Like, oh, they doing it, I can do this. No, find your niche. Like, people ask me all the time, how are you a Black African American woman and you do Mexican? Because you hear my whole product line is basically Mexican authentic food. So, but that's because of my hometown in Saginaw. For some reason, Mexican food dominates, you know, and I think it's because this company is a small company called Vargas, and they make tortilla breads. And in Saginaw, we call it taco bread. But and we actually, believe it or not, we used to, you know how you have a milkman? We used to have a tamale lady that came by every Friday and knocked on your door and asked you if you want to buy tamales.
Okay, so I'm from Detroit, and we've had someone exactly like that. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Right. Oh, I love that. And I feel like that's really good advice, because when you find a niche and you're like in it, you know, that's where you really start to see the success. That's where you really start to see that growth. And I feel like we're defining success and what it could look like, and it looks different for everybody else, but that doesn't happen without hard work, right? So like research, you're required to have some level of research in your business before you're bringing your idea to life. So what did research look like for you?
Pretty much just research and different recipes, and through the SpringGR, like the courses and stuff that they provided, that was a lot of the research that I did. And but I was just basically just researching the different products in the market, trying to see who my competitor is, doing a lot of taste testing to see like what, how do my product differ from theirs, so I would do a lot of taste testing and like, okay, Then listen to customers and they'll tell me like, oh yeah, I tried this one at such and such, it doesn't taste as well as yours. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
So you were getting that validation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how does that work when it comes to like your standards, right? Because obviously you have a certain standard for your brand. You know exactly what's going to make you successful. You know exactly what's going to build you up. But like, what if you don't have the financial means to build that up? Like, how do you combat, yes, I know what my brand is supposed to look like, but this is what I can afford right now?
Basically by what my bank account says. My bank account says you got to go to Office Depot and put these labels out, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like you're making the sacrifices.
Yeah. I do a steady growth. I'm not trying to go flat out and spend all this money and not know if I'm, have a return on it. So, I listen to my customers for sure, and I just wait for sales.
I think that's huge, especially when you're talking about growth and just making sure that you're taking all of those steps, right? Is there anything else that the people should know? Any words of advice? Any last parting words?
Basically, just stay the course. Never give up, because believe me, I wanted to give up plenty of times. Like losing my husband of 33 years, that was my heart, my soul. We started dating at 15, 16, and I never could imagine going through this path without him, but because through the grace of the Lord and God, I'm here, so I would say never give up. If you have a dream, just, keep at it and go at your pace, and never let anyone tell you that you're not moving, fast enough. You have to go at your pace. So.
All right. Well, Dawn, where can the people find you?
You can find me at the Kazoo Station. I don't have a schedule just yet because right now I'm working on my the 100 fish contest. But when I get done with that, I'll be back at the market. I'm trying to get back. My next date will probably be sometime in October, but I can keep you posted.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any social media?
I have Facebook, so you can catch me at Miss Too Savvy on Facebook, Miss Too Savvy Dip on Facebook, or you can catch me. That's pretty much it, because I don't have any Instagram or anything like that. So you can catch me on Facebook at Miss Too Savvy.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of the SpringGR Show. And a huge thank you to Dawn for sharing her story and her insights. If you want to connect with her, you can find her at the information at the bottom of your screen. To learn more about SpringGR and how we help entrepreneurs grow, please visit us at www.springgr.com and follow us on all social media platforms at the SpringGR fam. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss future conversations with more inspiring entrepreneurs. Until next time, keep building, keep dreaming, and keep growing. Bye.